Adi Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Bhalabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Bhalabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Bhalabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Bhalabha Girivardhari Jasodhanandana Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Bhalabha Girivardhari Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jasodhanandana Brajachanarandana Jasodhanandana Brajachanarandana Brajachanarandana Jamana Thira Vana Chadi Jamana Thira Vana Chadi Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Hari Vajagacharya Astatara Satasi Srimad His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Gaur Premanandi. I'd like to read a few verses from Sri Brahma Samitha following the Govinda prayers. The Govinda prayers end with text 56. So I'd like to start with text 57. On hearing these hymns containing the essence of the truth, the Supreme Lord Krishna said to Brahma, Brahma, if you experience the inclination to create offspring by being endowed with the real knowledge of the glory of Godhead, listen, my beloved, from me to this science set forth in the following 5 slokas. Purport. The Supreme Lord became propitious when Brahma with great eagerness chanted the names Krishna and Govinda, expressive of the form, attributes, and pastimes. Brahma was actuated by the desire for mundane creation. Krishna then said to Brahma, how pure unalloyed devotion can be practiced by souls engaged in worldly occupations by combining the same with the desire for carrying out the behest of the Supreme Lord. Quote, the knowledge absolute is knowledge of the glory of Godhead, semicolon. If you want to procreate offspring being endowed with such knowledge, listen attentively to the science of devotion that is contained in the following 5 slokas, unquote. Paragraph. How bhakti is practiced by performing worldly duties in the form of carrying out the commands of the Supreme Lord is being described. Very practical application topic. Text 58. Translation. When the pure spiritual experience is excited by means of cognition and service, super excellent, unalloyed devotion characterized by love of Godhead is awakened towards Krishna, the beloved of all souls. Purport. Real knowledge is nothing but knowledge of one's relationship to the Absolute. Real knowledge is identical with the knowledge of subjective natures of chit, animate, achit, inanimate, and Krishna, and of their mutual relationship. Now, this is grammar. The subjective nature, the subject-object, that kind of grammatical sense, the subjective nature. The subjective nature of chit, animate, achit, inanimate, and Krishna, and of their mutual relationship. So, subject-object, and their interrelationship. Here, mental speculation is not alluded to, since that is antagonistic to service. Bhakti. The knowledge that embraces only the first 7 of the 10 basic principles, dasamula, is the knowledge of relationship. So what's that? Dasamula. You know what is dasamula? It's Bhaktivinoda Thakur's teaching of the 10 essential teachings, dasa, mula, 10 essential teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Dasa, mula, the 10 essential teachings of Lord Chaitanya. The first 7 of the 10 are sambandha. You know what that one is, right? Sambandha? Sambandha Gyan. Knowledge of the relationship of all things with the source of emanation is sambandha Gyan. So the first 7 of the 10 essential teachings of Lord Chaitanya are in the sambandha category. The knowledge that embraces only the first 7 of the 10 basic principles, dasamula, is knowledge of the relationship. the next is abhideya, acting in the relationship. He has a nice way of saying it. The substantive nature of the spiritual function, abhideya, inculcated by the science of devotion, hearing, chanting, meditating, tending the holy feet, worshipping by rituals, making prostrations, doing menial service, practicing friendship, and surrendering oneself are identical with practicing the search for Krishna. That's number 8 out of the 10. It is specifically described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Devotion, bhakti, characterized by love for Godhead, makes her appearance by being awakened by such knowledge and practice, or sambandha and abhideya results in prayojana. Such devotion is super excellent bhakti and no other than the final object of attainment of all spiritual endeavor of the individual soul. So prayojana is the perfection. Love of God is the perfection. Now, the topic that Krishna said he wanted to explain to Lord Brahma is how worldly functions can become elevated to the spiritual plane. So getting a foundation of Sambandha Abhideya Prayojana is being established here. Then, 59. The highest devotion, that's this prema, is attained by slow degrees, by method of constant endeavor for self-realization, with the help of 3 things: scriptural evidence, knowledge, verified knowledge, valid knowledge, pramana, theistic conduct and acting accordingly, and perseverance in practice. So you know what the goal is, you're acting according to the conduct that helps you reach the goal, and you stay perseverant in your practice. Purport. Evidence. This is what's evident, pramana. The devotional scriptures, for example, Bhagavatam, Vedas, Puranas, Gita, etc. Theistic conduct. The conduct of pious persons, or sadhus, who are pure devotees, and the conduct of those pious persons who practice devotion to Godhead, actuated by spontaneous love. Then the third is practice. To learn about the 10 basic principles, dasamula, from the Shastras, and proper conduct and practice. To practice the chanting of the name by serving him night and day. By this are meant study of the Shastras and association with the sadhus. The 10-fold offense to the holy name ceases by serving the name of Hari and simultaneously practicing pious conduct. You act in a theistic way. And all the while, so that you frame your life in goodness, all the while cultivating internal devotion to Lord Hari through the chanting of his name. That's the practice part. Practice, quote unquote, is no other than following the mode of service of the name practiced by the sadhu without offense. I'll read that again. Practice, unquote, quote unquote, is no other than following the mode of service of the name practiced by the sadhus without offense. And then finally, by perseverance in such practice and devotion characterized by love, which is the fruit of the spiritual endeavor, makes her appearance in the pure essence of the soul. So Brahma's giving advice. It's advice is to Brahma, but in fact it's to any one of us, because we have the urge to do something. He has the urge to create a universe. We have the urge to do something, whatever our nature is. We have the urge to do something. And that something is the senses contacting something of this world, commonly. We're not so likely to have the aspiration to create a universe, but to do something. And how to join that something with the process that activity can take you to prema. I'm going to skip. I'm not going to skip. Yeah, I'm going to skip 60. I'll just read the verse. These preliminary practices of devotion, or sadhana bhakti, are conducive to the realization of loving devotion. Loving devotion, than whom there is no superior well-being, who goes hand in hand with the attainment of the exclusive state of supreme bliss, and who can lead to myself. So prema leads to Krishna. Bhakti leads to prema, leads to Krishna. Then, so this is the key verse, number 61. Abandoning all meritorious performances, like, sarvadharmam prityaja. The Sanskrit is dharmam anyan prityaja. Same.